Welcome. Not every request comes from innocence. Some requests are hidden examinations of your strength. People will smile while asking for pieces of your peace, a little of your time, a little of your energy, a little of your dignity. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin disappearing inside the expectations of others. This is how many men lose themselves, not through one great failure, but through thousands of small compromises. Stoic philosophy teaches something powerful. A man must know what is sacred within himself, because once you constantly give away your inner foundation, people stop respecting your boundaries, and eventually, you stop respecting yourself. A disciplined man understands that kindness without wisdom becomes self-destruction. There is a difference between helping others and abandoning yourself. And in today's world, many people are rewarded for overgiving while silently suffering inside. They smile while exhausted. They say yes while angry. They tolerate disrespect while pretending to be understanding. But deep down, their spirit grows heavy. This is why Stoicism matters. It reminds you that peace is not weakness. Silence is not fear. Boundaries are not cruelty. True masculine strength is calm, controlled, and deeply self-aware. A Stoic man does not hate people. He simply refuses to lose himself for them. And today, you will learn the 5 things you should never give people, even if they ask politely. Because some things, once given away too free, slowly destroy your spirit.
Never give endless explanations. The first thing you should never give people is endless explanations. One of the greatest emotional traps in life is feeling the need to justify every decision you make. Why you changed, why you said no, why you walked away, why you protect your peace now. Weak people often demand explanations because they feel uncomfortable when they cannot control you. And many men exhaust themselves trying to be understood by people who already decided to misunderstand them. A Stoic man knows this truth. Not everyone deserves access to your reasoning. Sometimes your silence is enough. You do not owe the world a detailed defense for choosing yourself. There are people who will question your boundaries not because they are confused, but because your boundaries inconvenience them. The moment you stop over-explaining, you begin reclaiming your power. Because over-explaining often comes from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being disliked. But a disciplined man accepts something most people avoid. You cannot be respected by everyone. And once you understand this, you stop chasing approval. Stoicism teaches calm certainty. You make your decision, you remain respectful, and then you move forward without emotional chaos. This quiet confidence creates sculpted grace, a calm presence that does not beg to be validated. Remember this carefully. The more emotionally desperate you are to be understood, the more control others gain over your peace. Not every opinion deserves your explanation. Not every accusation deserves your defense. Sometimes, the strongest answer is simple silence. Because real strength does not argue endlessly. It stands firmly without noise.
Never give away your inner peace. The second thing you should never give people is your inner peace. This world is full of noise, arguments, drama, negativity, emotional manipulation. And many people unconsciously try to pull others into the chaos they carry inside themselves. You will meet people who complain constantly, people who create problems where none exist, people who become uncomfortable when they see someone calm and disciplined, because peace exposes the disorder within them. A Stoic man understands that protecting his peace is not selfish, it is necessary. Your mind is the center of your life. Every decision, every emotion,
Every action begins there. If your mind becomes polluted with constant stress and emotional noise, your spirit slowly weakens. This is why wise men are careful about what they allow into their inner world. Not every conversation deserves your attention. Not every insult deserves your reaction. Not every battle deserves your energy. One of the deepest forms of self-discipline is learning to walk away from unnecessary emotional storms. Many people believe strength means reacting loudly, but Stoicism teaches the opposite. Real strength is remaining composed when others lose control. A calm man intimidates people who depend on emotional chaos, because when someone cannot control your emotions, they lose power over you. Think about how many times your peace was destroyed by things that never truly mattered. A careless comment, someone's opinion, a temporary misunderstanding. Most suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our uncontrolled reaction to them. This is why Stoic philosophy teaches emotional mastery, not emotional suppression, not pretending not to feel, but learning how to feel without becoming consumed. A Stoic man experiences anger, sadness, disappointment, pain, and pain, but he refuses to let those emotions rule his life. He pauses before reacting. He observes before speaking. He thinks before responding.
Never give people unlimited access to you. The third thing you should never give people is unlimited access to your life. Many men destroy their own peace because they allow everyone into their emotional space. They reveal every plan, every weakness, every fear, every dream. And eventually, they wonder why they feel emotionally drained and exposed. Stoic philosophy teaches that privacy is power, not secrecy born from fear, but discipline born from wisdom. A wise man understands that not everyone deserves full access to his thoughts, emotions, and personal struggles. Some people listen only to judge you later. Some listen only to compare themselves to you. Some listen only to use your vulnerability when it benefits them. This is why a disciplined man speaks carefully. He does not reveal everything simply because someone asks. There is strength in mystery. There is protection in silence. The modern world encourages constant exposure. People share every emotion online, every conflict, every heartbreak, every personal detail. But constant exposure weakens emotional stability. The more people gain access to your private world, the more influence they gain over your emotional state. A Stoic man remains open-hearted but guarded. He knows that trust must be earned slowly, not given freely. This does not mean becoming cold or isolated. It means becoming selective. Selective with your energy, selective with your friendships, selective with your vulnerability. Because energy is precious. And one of the saddest realities in life is this. Some people only appreciate your presence when they benefit from your openness. The moment you stop oversharing and overgiving, their behavior changes. That is when you discover who truly values you. Strong men do not seek attention through constant exposure. They move quietly, build quietly, heal quietly, grow quietly. And when success finally arrives, it speaks for itself. A Stoic man understands that silence often protects what noise destroys. Your goals do not need constant validation. Your growth does not need public approval. Your private struggles do not belong to everyone. Protect your inner life with discipline and sculpted grace. Because the less access toxic people have to your mind, the stronger your peace becomes. Never give away your self-respect. The fourth thing you should never give people is your self-respect. Once a man loses self-respect, everything inside him begins to collapse quietly. His confidence weakens. His peace disappears. His spirit becomes heavy. And the painful part is this. Many people surrender their self-respect slowly without even noticing it. They tolerate disrespect just to avoid being alone. They stay silent when they should speak. They allow others to insult them while pretending to be understanding.
At first, it seems small. A joke that crossed the line, a betrayal that was ignored, a boundary that was violated. But over time, every tolerated disrespect teaches people one dangerous lesson: that your dignity is negotiable. Stoic philosophy teaches that dignity must never depend on the opinions of others. A disciplined man knows his worth internally. This means he does not beg for love. He does not chase validation. He does not remain where he is repeatedly dishonored. Because a man who abandons his standards for acceptance eventually loses himself completely. Many people fear loneliness so much that they tolerate emotional humiliation just to keep someone in their life. But Stoicism teaches something deeper. It is better to walk alone with peace than to stay surrounded by disrespect. Real confidence is not loud arrogance. It is quiet self-respect. It is the ability to say, I will not allow anyone to reduce my value. A Stoic man does not constantly announce his boundaries. He enforces them calmly through action. If someone repeatedly disrespects him, he creates distance. If someone manipulates him, he withdraws his energy. If someone destroys his peace, he stops giving them access to his life.
No drama, no revenge, no emotional chaos, just calm departure. That is silent strength. Many men think strength means domination, but true masculine power is self-control mixed with dignity. The strongest man is often the one who can walk away from disrespect without hatred in his heart. This is sculpted grace, power carried with calm discipline. Remember this carefully. Every time you betray your own standards to please others, your spirit weakens a little more. And people notice when you stop respecting yourself. They begin speaking to you differently, treating you differently, using you differently. Because the world often mirrors the value you place on yourself. Protect your dignity. Protect your standards. Protect your self-respect. Not with arrogance, but with quiet certainty. Because once self-respect is lost, inner peace becomes impossible. If someone repeatedly disrespects him, he creates distance. If someone manipulates him, he withdraws his energy. If someone destroys his peace, he stops giving them access to his life.
Never give people control over your emotions. The fifth thing you should never give people is control over your emotions. This is one of the deepest teachings of Stoic philosophy. If someone can easily provoke your anger, control your mood, or disturb your peace whenever they choose, then they control you. And many people never realize how much power they hand away emotionally every single day. One rude comment ruins their entire mood. One rejection destroys their confidence. One insult controls their thoughts for hours. This is emotional slavery. A Stoic man refuses to become a prisoner of external events. He understands that life will always contain difficult people, criticism, disappointment, disrespect, loss. But he also understands that his response determines his strength. Most people react immediately. They explode emotionally. They argue without thinking. They allow temporary emotions to make permanent damage. But Stoicism teaches pause before reaction. A disciplined man learns to observe his emotions before obeying them. He asks himself, is this worth losing my peace over? And most of the time, the answer is no. This does not mean he becomes emotionless. Stoic men feel deeply. They experience pain, sadness, anger, and heartbreak like everyone else. But they refuse to let emotions become their master.
Because uncontrolled emotions destroy judgment. Anger creates regret. Impulse creates mistakes. Emotional reactions create unnecessary suffering. A calm man sees clearly. This is why emotional discipline is one of the greatest forms of power a man can develop. When people cannot provoke you easily, they lose influence over your life. Your calmness becomes untouchable strength.
And strangely, the calmer you become, the more respect you earn. Because emotional control creates presence. A stoic man enters a room without needing attention. His energy speaks before he does. He remains composed during conflict, grounded during pressure, steady during chaos. This is rare in today's world. Most people are controlled by every emotion they feel, every desire, every impulse. But a disciplined man becomes the master of himself. And self-mastery is the highest form of freedom. Remember this deeply. The person who angers you controls you. So protect your emotions carefully, not by suppressing them, but by understanding them without surrendering to them. Because true strength is not found in controlling others. It is found in controlling yourself. One of the most dangerous addictions in life is the need for approval. Many men spend their entire lives trying to be accepted by everyone around them. They change their personality to fit into rooms that were never meant for them. They hide their real emotions. They silence their opinions. They overgive, over-explain, and over-sacrifice just to avoid rejection. And slowly, they lose their identity. Stoic philosophy teaches that a man who depends on external validation will never know inner peace. Because the opinions of people change constantly. One day they praise you. The next day, they criticize you. One moment they admire your kindness. The next moment, they take advantage of it. If your confidence depends on people's approval, your emotions will always remain unstable. A stoic man learns to stand firmly even when misunderstood. He understands that not everyone will agree with his path. Not everyone will appreciate his boundaries. Not everyone will understand his silence. And that is perfectly fine. Because maturity begins the moment you stop needing applause for every decision you make. There is something deeply powerful about a man who no longer performs for acceptance. He does not seek attention through noise. He does not chase validation through constant explaining. He does not abandon himself to be liked. Instead, he builds quiet confidence from within. This creates a calm, masculine presence, sculpted grace carried without arrogance. The truth is, people respect you more when they realize you are not desperate for their approval. Neediness weakens presence. Desperation weakens dignity. But calm self-respect creates silent authority. A stoic man understands that he cannot control how others see him, but he can control his own character. And character matters more than popularity. So stop exhausting yourself trying to be loved by everyone. Not everyone deserves your energy. Not everyone deserves your... Learn the power of saying no. Many people destroy their peace because they are afraid of one simple word. No. They say yes when they are emotionally tired. Yes when they feel uncomfortable. Yes when their spirit is already exhausted. And over time, they begin carrying resentment inside themselves. Stoicism teaches that boundaries are necessary for a healthy mind. A disciplined man understands that every yes costs energy. Your time is limited. Your emotional strength is limited. Your focus is limited. If you give these things away carelessly, you will slowly feel empty inside. This is why wise men choose carefully where their energy goes. Saying no does not make you selfish. Sometimes, saying no is an act of self-respect. Sometimes, saying no protects your future. Sometimes, saying no protects your mental peace. Weak people often become uncomfortable when you create boundaries. Not because your boundaries are wrong, but because they benefited from your lack of boundaries before. This is why some people become angry the moment you stop overgiving. Your discipline exposes their entitlement. A Stoic man does not feel guilty for protecting his peace. He helps when he genuinely can. He supports others with wisdom. But he never destroys himself trying to save everyone. Because he understands a painful truth. You cannot pour endlessly from an empty soul. There must be balance. Strength is not endless sacrifice. Strength is disciplined.
The silent strength of a Stoic man. Modern society often teaches men to become loud, reactive, and constantly visible. But Stoic philosophy teaches something entirely different. Real strength is quiet. It is the man who remains calm while everyone else loses control. The man who stays disciplined while others follow emotion. The man who protects his peace without needing to prove himself constantly. This kind of strength is rare. Most people react instantly to everything. Every insult, every opinion, every emotional trigger. But a Stoic man observes before reacting. He understands that emotional impulsiveness weakens judgment. This is why silence becomes one of his greatest weapons. Not silence born from fear, but silence born from mastery. He no longer feels the need to argue with everyone. He no longer wastes energy trying to win every battle. He no longer seeks attention through noise. Instead, he develops presence. And presence is powerful. People can feel when a man is emotionally grounded. They can feel when someone carries discipline inside themselves. A calm man changes the energy of a room without saying much. This is sculpted grace, strength shaped with wisdom, patience, and self-control. A Stoic man becomes difficult to manipulate because he is no longer controlled by temporary emotions. Final message: protect what is sacred. At the end of the day, life becomes a reflection of what you allow. If you allow constant disrespect, your spirit weakens. If you allow emotional chaos, your peace disappears. If you allow everyone unlimited access to your mind and heart, exhaustion becomes your daily reality. This is why Stoic philosophy matters so deeply. It teaches men to protect what is sacred within themselves. Your peace is sacred. Your dignity is sacred. Your emotional balance is sacred. Your self-respect is sacred. And not everyone deserves access to these things. A Stoic man understands that strength is not about controlling the world around him. It is about controlling himself, his reactions, his emotions, his energy, his decisions. This self-mastery creates freedom. Because once you stop depending on approval, emotional chaos, and outside validation, you become mentally untouchable. You stop reacting to every opinion. You stop begging to be understood. You stop sacrificing yourself to keep temporary relationships alive. And slowly, your mind becomes peaceful again. Remember this carefully. Some people will only respect you after you stop giving them unlimited access to your energy. Some people will only value your presence after you learn to walk away calmly. And some people will never understand your boundaries because they benefited from your weakness before. That is why discipline matters. Not harshness, not arrogance, not emotional coldness. Discipline. A calm, grounded, masculine discipline carried with sculpted grace. So protect your peace. Protect your standards. Protect your mind. Because in a world full of emotional noise, a disciplined man becomes rare.